Hey, boys and girls, this is Anonymous, and everything was going well, and then we get a phone call from my brother-in-law telling us that my father-in-law, who is, I hate saying this, but he's a drunk. He's been drunk for most of the time I've known him. He's had whole years of sobriety, and then he just does a nosedive. So find out that he is, he was in urgent care. He keeps breaking things. I don't know how many more things he can break before he's completely broken, but I can tell you this: He's breaking our hearts because like the thing is, he's a really really smart guy, and you can't control it, and you can't and it's gotten to a point where my wife and I have to really draw a line in the sand. Sometimes you have to do that with people that you love. You have to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, we can't be around you because it's just too much. If you want help and want to ask for help, yeah, we'll be there in a heartbeat. But the thing is, it's just too much. It's getting to be the point where it's too much, and if he's not willing to get help or ask for help, then we can't have anything to do with him. I mean, we want to have him in our family, but it's too hard, and the ups and downs are just too much. Because he'll be fine. He'll be fine for a while, and then, I picked him up the other day, and he was just shaking uncontrollably. He had the worst shakes, and like he could barely get into my car, and it breaks my heart. So he leaves a voicemail like around midnight-ish, telling my wife that he's basically pissing blood, and my wife is an occupational therapist. Okay, so he says, "Can you call me back and tell me what you think I should do?" I repeat, my wife is an occupational therapist. She's not a doctor. She's not a triage nurse. She is an occupational therapist, and and there's not much I can do because I used to think of myself as a writer by trade, but I obviously, and I've written obviously I've written a few pieces since this podcast started, which was the piece about my own struggles with addiction, as well as the review for that movie Beautiful Boy, which is also about addiction. So I think I know a thing or two about addiction and alcoholism, but my wife a long time ago, again, as I've said in the past, gave me a choice: divorce or rehab. I chose rehab. My father-in-law has done the rehab thing many times. And I love the guy. I really do. I love him. I call him Dad number 2 because he is. He's like he's my father-in-law. But at what point do you say enough's enough? That's the question. I was blessed in the fact, blessed. I'll say it. I was blessed in that I hit my bottom really early in life and rebuilt my life from the ground up. I'm a lucky guy. A lot of people don't get that, aren't able to find that, or get that, or it's heartbreaking to watch people go up and go down so many times like a yo-yo. So anyway, no, I'm not crying. I'm just kind of nasal. My allergies are bothering me today. So getting back to being a writer, when I first moved to Mankato, I got, within a week or so of moving here, I got a writing job for the Mankato Free Press to interview a few different musical acts that were performing at South by Southwest. One of them was Goodnight Goldust, who I hope to be having a conversation with in the near future. They're great people, but I also had the wonderful opportunity to meet a musician family, and he's a family man, His name was Ian Hilmer. And I just remember having this wonderful conversation about music. And I remember specifically we talked about the song 5 Years from the David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust album. And I remember, like, I know there are fans of David Bowie out there, but I don't know how many of there out there that know that song through and through like I do, which is, in that song, as I said, is 5 Years, and it's such a good song. It's the best, my favorite song on the Ziggy Stardust album by far, and it's the opening track, but the rest of the album is just absolutely gold too. But he and I had a long conversation about it, and I remember the musical performance that I went to of his. It's very unique for me because it was the first time I'd gone to see live music sober and clean, without having anything in my system, and I just enjoyed it so much. And then he did this awesome thing, and I don't know if it was for me. I think it was for me. I think I might have shouted it out from the audience. I don't know if he was taking requests or something like that, but he played the song 5 Years for me, and I just remember becoming, to a certain extent, euphoric. And I remember telling my sponsor, it was better than any drug I'd ever taken, because it was like I was alive and animated, and I was just enjoying music and being completely straight, which obviously, not completely straight, but that's a different kind of straight that we're talking about. But anyway, he is our guest today, and I'm really pleased to have him on the show, and I really hope that you guys enjoy it, and I'll be bringing him out here very shortly. And as for my father-in-law, I'm sure he's not listening to this because he doesn't. I don't even think he has a smartphone anymore. Or I think he might have a laptop. I'm not sure, but I don't think he knows where to. At this point, I'm not even sure he knows how to use a laptop at this point, because he's so out of it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just want to give a big welcome to Ian Hilmer, and hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, we've got Ian Hilmer on the show, and how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, yeah. And how was yours, my good man?
Smooth.
Smooth?
Yeah.
What does smooth mean?
Yeah, no one got injured, and it all worked out.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, my father-in-law got injured. He wasn't even at our Thanksgiving, but yeah, he's kind of down and out. But was talking to him about him in my intro, but yeah, he broke some fingers, and anyway. But so I was just talking about, I'd only been in Mankato for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, when like I got this call from the Mankato Free Press to interview Goodnight Gold Dust, and this other gentleman named Ian Hilmer.
Oh yeah.
And that was 7 years ago.
Is that already 7 years?
It's been 7 years. Yeah.
Okay, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, and I was just like, and it was just so weird because I had sent an email to them, the Free Press, and about my writing experience, and I was expecting to wait probably 5, like a few weeks, but within 10 minutes, they're like, hey, we got these two great bands that are going to be playing like South by Southwest or whatever. And,
yeah.
Yep, and I was like, and this was back in 2011, I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is, we're doing that now. So I think I interviewed you first, but it was really cool because we were talking about David Bowie and that song 5 Years on his Ziggy Stardust album. Yeah. And it was just so cool because I remember you're kind of an important figure at this point in my recovery because I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict.
We talked about that,
yeah. And your show was the first concert I went to being completely clean and sober.
Nice.
Yeah, and
where was that show at?
Oh man,
was that the what? Where was that at? What's Up? No.
No. Oh man, where was it?
Was it a full band or was it a solo?
I think you had a full band. Yeah, and it was a bar, and
Midtown.
What?
Midtown.
I think it might have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I just remember like somehow or another we caught up with each other at the when there was like an intermission, and like I don't know what we were talking about, but then you broke in with this you broke in with the song 5 Years.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just like I became fucking euphoric, man. Like, I was like and later on I called my sponsor, but I was like, oh my god, I went to my first concert straight, and like he was like, oh cool, how'd that go? And I was like, oh my god, it's better than any drug I've ever taken, you know. And it's so weird because the music for me, I mean, I have a subscription to Apple Music, and surprise, you're on there, which is really awesome, you know, like, you know, but my wife and I, we you know, so there have been a few occasions where we've been in dire straits, and I'm like, we might have to cancel the Apple Music, and it's become such an extension of myself, you know, music, you know, like, and having the Apple Music where I can just play any song I want whenever I'm in any mood, you know, and like, it's just so weird, you know, how music plays such a huge part in our lives, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why you give up cable first.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We gave up. We did
working your way down the list.
We gave cable up. We did get Hulu, so
Yep.
So we got Hulu. So now we can pretty much get anything we want. But I mean, you know, music is such a huge part of my life, and you know, I was talking to Caleb Brown Schultz, like as I was saying earlier, and we had a really good interview because and I was also talking to this comedian, and like are you originally from Mankato?
I am not.
Where are you originally from?
I'm all over the map. I was born in Virginia.
Virginia, okay.
I lived in Wisconsin, Texas.
Okay.
But I mainly grew up and graduated in Minnesota, but like near Austin.
Okay.
Minnesota.
All right. So, in the areas that you lived, were there a lot of people? I mean, did you play a lot of shows when you were kind of getting? No. Okay.
Where I'm from is rural.
Rural.
Very rural, very small town.
Yeah.
My school district was about like 7 towns put together.
Oh wow! No kidding.
Yeah. So I just got back. We just had a buddy of mine from Colorado we graduated with.
Yeah.
We organized a party bus.
A party bus, okay.
To go the night before Thanksgiving.
All right.
And I'm not a big drinker either.
Okay.
But I
remember, because I mean you're kind of a family man, you know, right?
Yeah, but I never was a big drinker.
Okay.
I've been in a band since I was 20.
Okay.
And
how old are you now?
I'm older.
Old? Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. Hey, fair enough.
Well, that's 25 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So I'm 45. I'll be 45 on Wednesday.
Thank God I was in like special ed math because you. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, I'll be 45 on Wednesday.
Well, congratulations.
So anyhow, this party bus we get. Right. Yes. We got this party bus. We're rolling around, and we're trying to get people from this area.
Yeah.
To have fun, to come on,
Yeah.
Visit.
Sure.
Reunion.
Right.
They're like, well, we can't get home. I'm like, well, you don't have to drink. You can just get on the bus.
Yeah. Right.
Be merry,
Yeah.
But it's hard. Like I'm saying, they're not much for entertainment.
Right.
Yeah. I've tried.
Yeah.
I put a stage in the middle of a street, and we put a band up there,
yeah.
and I think people just stared at us like, what is this? But,
yeah,
kids remembered that were kids then. They're old now. So they're like, I remember that. That was great. So it worked out, sort of. But I did not play around that area. I moved to Mankato to do that, basically.
Yeah. And you've kind of flourished. I mean, like I said,
try.
Yeah.
Just keep at it eventually.
What is it? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is, I've only been doing this little feller here, the podcast, since October 9th.
Okay.
So
that's new.
It's a new thing, and for me, like, it's it's become, at first it felt very canned, like I was trying to be like this Uber radio broadcaster, like have a smooth, like, and talk about, like I listen to a lot of Mark Maron's podcast, yeah, but he's a very neurotic comedian, and and my wife is like, Hal, it doesn't sound like you. It sounds like you're trying to be somebody else. So
right.
I think as I've said in previous episodes, like it's taken me pretty much this whole time to kind of find my own voice, as I guess a podcaster,
Well, as long as you're curious,
yeah,
you'll have a show.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
If you're not, then just quit.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No.
Just be curious, and then you'll keep going.
And I originally, in my description of the podcast, I said, I interview people that I find interesting, and in parentheses, they're done, even if you might not, Sure. But then I was just like, fuck it, like people are gonna be, if people are interested, they'll listen. If they're not, they won't. But no, I'm an extremely curious person. I mean, I had a friend, be on the show. He makes like bicycle spoke bracelets.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm wearing one right now. But his name's Michael Murphy. But so what? I mean, as far as playing, I mean, what gets you there? I mean, what as far as the creative process? I know that just throwing out the tough question.
Okay, so the reason why I write songs.
Yeah.
Some people write songs to party, like to dance, make people dance.
Yeah, sure.
Some write it for a girlfriend, wives, or loved ones.
Yes.
I guess I was right. I just it depends on how they come to me.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I mean, most of my songs aren't like happy dance songs.
No, they're
not. More. No, I mean, it's so.
Yeah, that's cool.
And to me, it's not. I don't want to say therapy, but I guess that's how I deal with stresses in life. I write it down.
Yeah.
And it's not always about me. It's more about maybe fictional characters.
Yeah.
And it's usually about relationships. As I look back at them, like, oh, that's and so I'll write many songs in a row, without the idea, any conscious thought of them going together.
Right.
But when I put them together in a collection, a CD, album,
right,
then I do arrange them to have like a story to it.
Right.
Like an arc to a relationship.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's usually how it works out. I don't plan it.
Right.
Until it's done.
I love my favorite word, organic.
Yeah.
But so it kind of flows together to a certain extent. So yeah.
But then I've also
almost like a concept album to a certain extent without trying to be a concept.
Yeah, it's
album.
like drawing a bunch of pictures and then putting them together, and then making a story.
Yeah.
And putting them in order on the table.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Not that it was meant.
Right.
But now you can make the story afterwards, and every CD I put out has that.
Yeah.
But no, not everyone notices, or most don't notice. But until I tell them.
Yeah. How many albums have you put out?
Well, I mean, I've recorded 7.
7. Okay.
If not, maybe 9, because there's some home recordings, if you can call them. But yeah, I made 7 in a studio, but only 1, 2, 3 of them were ever properly released.
Yeah.
I mean, some got stopped after production, and we just sat on it, and then it didn't work out, or money wasn't there, and or I was off on just things happen. But I have collections of 7 albums, so I could re-release them at some point.
Hey, there you go. You get something in the back burner if you need.
Yeah, and once I get more savvy on this technological thing, I can maybe just post
social media thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still very green with this. I mean, I just finally started learning how to edit.
Yep.
And that is a very tedious process. Like, I actually had a whole intro before you came over, and then I was like, no, scratch it, and I deleted it. It was like a whole 10 minutes, and so I had to go back and redo it, and it's about something completely different. But no, I think that's really cool, because there's so many musicians out there that drink and use, and they don't, they and unfortunately, not really unfortunate, but a lot of them, like, that's the way that helps them get there, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think that's really, really admirable that you're able to do your thing without that kind of influence. You're doing it because it's therapy, you know. And
yeah, no, I'm not abstinent of alcohol. I mean, but I don't drink. I mean, if someone just tried to give me a 12-pack of Bud Light yesterday, I'm like, I don't drink at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'd just sit there for months, and I'd give it to guests or whatever.
Right.
But I don't like being drunk, you know, and I don't do hard drugs, and when I'm writing a song, it's usually, you know, it's morning or coffee is involved. So there's a drug.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, you know, I don't have to get all wasted to figure out what I want to write.
Right. That's really cool. Yeah. So you, as I mentioned, you're a family man. I mean, you've got. I know you've got. When we first talked, you had a.
Well, he would have been. It was 7 years ago. He was 3 then. 3. He's 10 now.
Oh man.
2nd degree black belt.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have a
holy crap
2-year-old daughter.
2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we just did her nails this morning. She loved that.
Oh hey, my mom's a manicurist. So
yeah.
Cool.
It was my idea. I'm like, let's just do your nails.
No kidding,
yeah,
really.
It was fun.
That's pretty cool. That's very progressive.
Yeah, right. So, Mom had to do it. I just had to hold the hand.
Hey, you know the fact you came up with that. What color did you guys paint them?
Purple.
Purple?
Because she has purple little bell bottoms on today. She's got she's kicking it at home right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched a movie. It's good.
Awesome. What movie you guys watch?
Monsters versus Aliens.
Okay, I have yet to see
animation. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Really?
Yeah. I like it.
Hey, you know what? I'm a huge film buff. Like that's pretty much like my if I want to be pretentious and be French, raison d'etre. You know, my reason for being. You know, like movies are my thing. But
have you seen the new Coen Brothers movie?
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs? No, I've not seen it yet.
Dude. Man.
I want to see it.
Are you familiar with Tom Waits?
I was actually about to when you're talking about telling stories in your songs, I was going to mention Tom Waits, but yeah.
Well, he's in that movie.
Oh yeah,
Does a great job.
I heard it's like his kind of, even though it's not a whole movie, like he's like the lead of that particular story.
He's the one of 2 actors in that scene.
Yeah,
it's him acting. It's him as looks like an old Santa Claus.
Yeah,
like, minor dude.
Great job. That man man, what an evolution. Like he started out as like kind of almost like a piano man kind of, and and then his voice.
Give or take it.
Yeah, you can either take it or leave it. I like it. I have his album Orphans, and he there's this song where he sings at the bottom of the world.
Yes, yeah.
And like I remember listening to it with my dad, and my dad was like, "Oh my God, what is this man's voice? He can't sing." I was like, "Yeah, it's beautiful." And like my dad was,
it's a character. You're watching.
Yeah,
a
exactly. It's
hearing a character.
Exactly. It's not his voice. I mean, because you can hear him in other songs, and his voice is distinctly different. With various songs. So I mean, like, but with that song, it's like, rah, rah, like, yes. It sounds like that thought of like that hobo that's on like a train. You know what I mean? Like you kind of. And that's kind of almost what the song's about. It's like, the song at the bottom of he's talking about travels that he's been through over, town after town.
Not a foot tapper.
Yeah, exactly. See? Yeah.
It's just an emotional scene he's setting up in a song.
Yep.
He's great at it. The first time I heard him, a guy I worked with back in the days of mixtapes.
Yeah.
He knew I liked music, so he's like, hey, he's from Seattle. He's like, I made this mixtape for you.
Yeah.
Put it in, and all these songs came on, and Tom Waits' song was "Going Out West." I don't know if you're familiar with that.
That one I'm not,
but to listen to that out of context, I was hearing like a Motorhead type of like "Going Out West,"
It's just that sounds like me working
what
out.
Is this, And then later on, maybe a couple years later, I figured out because this was before internet. You couldn't just search stuff. You had to find it in record stops or friends. And then I found, what was it, Mule Variations. And wow,
Hold
what
on,
is this?
And,
oh my, yeah. And then I, reading into it, he made the Eagles' first hit, which was Old 55.
I love that song.
Yeah, they did it, made it a hit.
No kidding.
He wrote it.
I didn't know that. I had no idea about that, dude. Like, I love Old 55. Sarah McLachlan also does a cover. She does a pretty good job. But
and their version, I mean, you'd remember it from It was on the radio many years ago.
When
but
the sun goes down.
Yeah. And they're doing Eagle style,
yeah,
with the harmonies and everything.
Yeah.
Then you listen to his, which is more of that emotional character.
Yeah.
And in fact, him and his wife, his whole show is written.
Yeah.
He comes out as a character.
Right.
So everything he says in between songs is written.
No kidding.
His wife and him.
I had no idea about that.
It's a play. He's a performer.
And they met.
Hence, he's an actor.
The set of like a movie, I think, a Francis Ford Coppola movie.
Oh, I don't know about that, but yeah. I think I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, he's like such a. I mean, he's brilliant.
It wouldn't be canned, as you say. It would be performance.
Yeah.
Everything is scripted.
Yeah.
And it's like even him tilting the hat or putting a cigarette up here. Everything is meant. The mood lighting.
Yeah.
His band is amazing.
It's almost like a play. Almost.
You were watching a play.
Yeah.
A musical, the best kind.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I was, I've been to a lot of shows, and I have to say, I mean, I've never seen Tom Waits. I would love to see him.
I've never seen him, and I think we're running out of time.
What's that?
I think we're running out of time. I've never seen him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming to Minnesota anytime soon.
Well, you never know. Bob Dylan's been, James. Well, yeah, but Tom Waits is. I mean, he's getting up there, but
he still could after this movie's out.
Yeah, maybe he will.
He should.
He should.
And come out with that old scruffy look.
Well, the Coen brothers are from Minnesota, so maybe who knows? Maybe to promote the movie.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I would have to say the best concert I've been to, and they might have sung it, but I, again, may or may not have been sober during that time, was the Eagles. And I've never been like hardcore Eagles, right. But I saw that concert, and not only did they play their stuff, but each of them played their solo stuff together.
Nice.
Like they, Joe Walsh played like Life is Good and In the City from like the movie The Warriors, and and Don Henley.
To play.
Yep.
Ding, ding.
Yep. Don Henley played Dirty Laundry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just such a good concert, and I think they played for like almost like 3 hours.
Well, they have enough hits.
They have enough hits, and I mean, if they're, and this was a decade ago. But I mean, at this point, they had the energy. I didn't want to. Glenn Frey died. So I was lucky. Yeah, I was lucky. I saw the Eagles before Glenn Frey died, and then I saw David Bowie before David Bowie.
Oh, you've seen David Bowie?
I did. I saw David Bowie, and it was fantastic. I was high as a kite, but I saw him.
Oh, what year?
It had to have. Oh gosh, I think it was 2005 or 2006. It was, it was definitely a couple years before I met my wife. So I think it had to have been between 2004 and 2006. I think one of those 2 years.
Right.
But it was fantastic, and he had a great opening. It's pretty rare when the opening act is almost as good as the actual main act, but sometimes it happens. But the opening act was this British band called the Stereophonics.
Oh, okay.
And like, not to be vulgar. Well, come on, I say fuck all the time. Anyway, but like their music was so like whoever the sound man did an amazing job. Like it was like that kind of really good bluesy rock music where you're like your balls just start vibrating. You know what I mean? Like and then Bowie came on, and at a certain point he was like, does anybody have any requests? And like, it was like, and then he goes, something softball, like something easy, and somebody threw it out, and I forgot what it was, but like he was so he engaged with the audience so much, you know what I mean? And I really wish I'd been so, in recovery at that point to have enjoyed it, but I was not at all. But no, it was a great show. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, people bash me because I love the band U2, but it was they threw a good concert, but still, the best concert I've been to was definitely the Eagles and David Bowie. You know what I mean?
Well, those are
I mean, so many,
not a bad line.
Very different types of music. But I mean, I think if you two hadn't had Kanye West opening for them, I might have enjoyed it more. Oh man, Kanye West. Let's just skip past that. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, honestly, I mean, I just lately. Because my wife and I have been through a lot recently with, between a failed adoption and, fertility issues, we can't have children, so for me, the best way to kind of just get through it is just find a music that just fits that mood, you know what I mean? And for me, for some reason, I've really been listening to a lot of Beck. His album Morning Phase. I don't know if you've listened to it.
Well, I wouldn't know the album names. I just remember it permeated our life for a minute. Yeah. In the time of our life.
No, I gotcha.
And I didn't mind it. I liked it.
Yeah. But it moved. I was listening to a point where my wife was just like, okay, you've played this enough. Like, you can stop now. But I'm like, sometimes you gotta keep playing it on loop until you get right in the head. You know what I mean? I know for some people, different artists do different things for different people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, besides Tom Waits, is there another artist that you just that just makes you just like that almost to a certain extent for
Oh yeah. The Tragically Hip. I was a Pink Floyd freak when I was a kid.
Sure.
But not for what people would think. Like, oh yeah, dude, go trip on acid to go to the show. Yeah, right. It's like no, because when I started listening to them, I was 12. 12. My uncle was recording a movie at my house. Oh, we had 2 VCRs. You had to record that way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that.
And you couldn't just, there's not a download. You have to watch the movie.
Right.
To record it.
Yeah, I remember
in real time.
My parents had a Betamax.
Sure. Okay. Well, okay.
Back. Yeah.
So anyhow, he's recording the movie The Wall, and I'm home alone. They left.
Right.
Push record, and here I am. For some reason, I was vacuuming at age 12. I don't know why that was.
Did you have an allowance?
I don't know. I don't know why I was vacuuming. Maybe I just enjoyed it. But this movie's on, and I'm vacuuming.
Yeah.
And the song "Another Brick in the Wall" comes on.
Oh man!
But now I remember that from being in a kindergarten. I remember that being my very first song.
Wow. On
the radio. That was my first.
That's a pretty good first song to have.
Yeah, I remember in a car, but didn't think about it until I was 12. And this is playing in my house. And what is this?
Yeah.
Then this is great. And before that, I didn't listen to music. You listen to the radio. It was, whatever.
Right.
Because you're 12.
Right.
You don't care.
Of course. Yeah.
But then I realized my sister had a record collection. She had a 45 of Pink Floyd.
No shit.
With Another Brick in the Wall.
Oh, wow.
One of my turns on the B side.
That's crazy.
So I listened to that. I'm like, oh my god, blew my mind.
Yeah.
So from that point on, and again, you didn't have ways to search.
Right.
You had to find.
You had to go to a record store.
The lore of what this band was, because they weren't a band.
Yeah.
When they were broke up.
Okay.
So from age 12 to time I was in 8th grade, they were no longer a band.
Right.
But in 1988, they came out with a new album.
Yeah.
I went to the show when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Friends' parents dropped us off and waited in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was my first concert.
Dude.
Head blown.
Man. Yeah.
It was at the Metrodome.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd at the Metrodome. Insane. I had been listening to him for a few years before.
Yeah.
And all my friends are like, "Who's Pink Floyd? What's Pink? Is he a girl?" And they didn't get it. And I'm like, well, they're great. So yeah, I identified with Roger Waters.
Yeah.
Then later in life, Tragically Hip, their Canadian band. He just recently passed away 1 year ago. So he had a brain tumor. He passed away, and great songwriter. Even the president of Canada cried talking about his death.
Okay, wow.
His name is Gord Downie.
Yeah.
And he has an excellent solo career. He has an excellent band career. They've been a band for 30 years.
What's his name?
His name is Gord Downie.
Wow. Okay, I've never.
Yeah, look this guy up.
Gord. Okay. Yeah. No.
The most a great album is called Coke Machine Glow. And a buddy of mine, him and I took him on a car ride up in the Winona area, and I forced him to listen to this album from front to back. We were just driving around. And today, every time I see him, I've seen him a few times since, he's like, God, I remember that album.
Yeah.
Because that was blowing my mind. It was a beautiful fall day. It was a perfect moment to play that album. And so Gord Downie also made 2 solo albums while he was sick.
Oh.
One for the Indigenous people of Canada.
Okay.
And a story of a child who was in a boarding home.
Right.
And he tried to, because back then they'd put the Indigenous people in these boarding schools.
Okay. And
teach them how to be Canadian, as we did to the Indians.
Right.
Well, this boy wanted to leave.
This is interesting history.
Right? And so that's why it's a big thing in Canada. And he was he was really on their side of it. And so he made this album. And the boy who leaves, I think he's 11 years old when he leaves this, he runs away.
Right.
And he's going to walk home, which is 500 miles away.
Yeah.
And it's almost winter.
Oh, geez.
He doesn't make it. He's on the tracks. So it's called Secret Path.
Yeah.
It's a great. You have to get the album. You have to look at the video of him doing it. It's called Secret Path. Gord Downie.
Secret Path.
Must see. And knowing that he was sick doing it, and why he's doing it, and about the songs, the progression of how he's going to get away, and doesn't quite make it. He dies alone out there in the. These aren't songs you're tapping your foot to.
Right.
In fact, you'll tear up if you get emotionally connected to it.
Here we go. Gord Downie found it.
Done.
Right there. Done.
And I'm a huge fan of his solo stuff, but of course I hope my band, we do a lot of hip covers.
Yeah.
And back in the day when I was in my first band, Mankato, the hockey team, which at the time, I'm not a big sports guy, but the hockey team at the time at MSU was like, and they are now again, but back then they were like the shit.
Yeah.
And they would come to our shows, and we played the hip, and they're Canadians, so they were like. And by the way, Tragically Hip is the #1 band in Canada.
Really?
They're Canada's band, and if you meet a Canadian and you say the hip, they'll either love it or hate it. Either like, okay, the hip, I get it, or they'll be like, yeah, love that band.
Okay.
But no one knows them in the States.
Yeah, I've never heard of them. In fact, when you were saying Tragically Hip, I thought you were saying like you're into like
the Tragically Hip music.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh wow, okay, all right.
Well, you might. They had one album that was made the States. It was called Fully Completely. But you got to go look at this guy perform. Mm-hmm. I took my sister to the show. Yeah. So her first time seeing Gord, she cried the minute he walked out.
Wow. Okay.
Because of his energy and what he did, and people were blown away by how he performed.
Yeah.
And then after a few shows, you're like, okay, I get how he performed. But that first time, you're just like overwhelmed. He fills the room. I tell you.
Crazy.
And when he was getting sick, and they had one last tour of Canada, so I took my family. We went out to Washington. No. We took another family and their son, who was the same age as my son, and my gal was pregnant with our 2-year-old. Yeah. And we drove out to Washington and did all the touristy things on the way out. Yeah. My brother came up from Texas. Him and I drove into Canada to Vancouver and watched the second show of the last tour they did. Wow. And then they toured. 1 year later, he passes on my brother's birthday. This is a band yeah. So I wrote a song about Gord. Yeah. And because my brothers and I took a picture with him at First Avenue. Yeah. So I wrote a song about that picture. Right. But I never meant to write the song about the picture. It just became, and I'm like, oh, that's what it's about. Yeah. So going back to how we write songs.
God, I wish I knew how to write music, dude.
Well, and another thing I think I started to say, but instead of writing the lyrics or humming, instead of doing it this way, sometimes I force myself to go this backwards.
Backwards?
Yep.
Wow.
So instead of, depending on how I usually do it, which is I hum, get a melody, put lyrics to a melody, and find the chords that fit that melody.
So like you're building it from the ground up almost.
Yeah, instead, one time I just took a drum and a snare and I recorded it to a click track,
Yeah.
I just did whatever came.
Right.
And then another drum. Each drum was recorded separately, just for fun.
Crazy.
And then I did a bass. And then I did a guitar.
Yeah.
And then I listened to what came, and I hummed, and then the lyrics came.
Right.
These are songs I would have never have written in the reverse, in the other way, the correct order, whatever.
Right.
But I like them. But I didn't feel like I wrote them. I just feel like I constructed them.
They just kind of came out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can write a song.
Yeah.
You just gotta do it from different angles.
I tried. Like I remember when I was like in high school, I'd be like, I'm gonna be a songwriter, and I'd like try writing like rhyming there. I was like,
But see, that's where you go wrong. It's like
right.
I'm gonna try to write.
Yeah. No.
It has to come up organically as the word again comes up. I don't think I've only written one song ever on purpose.
Okay.
Like, okay, I'm gonna write this song now, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it, and here it is, done. And so it was a wedding song.
Okay.
Because my friend of mine wanted me to play their wedding. They sent me all these country songs. I'm like, can I just write you a song?
Wow.
She's like, yes.
Yeah.
So I wrote a 30-second song.
Yeah.
Her husband cried. And I played it at many weddings since.
Oh yeah.
And they all cry.
That's
yes.
nice. You know, it's really weird the way, because like I said, I'm a film buff, right? And
yeah.
I'm a TV buff, and there have been so many actors that have died. Actors that I'm huge fans of, like Robin Williams.
Yep.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes.
But the thing is, I mean, I'm very sad when they die, but like, for me, as much as I love movies, like when a musician dies, that is what gets the
Bowie weirded me out.
Yeah.
When that happened, I'm like, the Earth doesn't have Bowie anymore. That's weird.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm in a world with no Bowie.
I woke up on Facebook and I saw R.I.P. Ziggy Stardust, and I was like, no, and I
got it through a text.
Yeah, and I started scrolling through, and all these people are like, R.I.P. David. But I was like, okay, I need to go to some news thing online. I was like, no. But the thing is, for me, I cried when Bowie died. But the artist that really just made me sob when I heard how he died, not just how that he died, but how he died, was Elliott Smith. Have you heard of him?
I know Elliott Smith.
Yeah, I mean, he fucking stabbed himself in the heart, man. I heard it on the news. I saw it on the article, and I just started sobbing because like his music, like meant so much to me. Like when I was towards the end of my high school years and into college. And
I did not know that he died that way.
Yeah, he stabbed himself in the heart. There's been some chatter about possible murders, that it could, apparently he and his girlfriend found him.
Follow the money or the passion.
Exactly, yeah.
And there's it is.
Yeah, and I just, I just remember I was sobbing when he died, and like I said, I cry a lot, but usually if it's an actor or something like that, I'm like, oh man, it sucks. But like when Elliott Smith died, like I just...
Well, wait till you get your kids adopted. Yeah. You're going to cry way more.
Yeah.
You wait.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Keep trying, by the way. Don't
stop. What's that?
Don't stop trying to adopt.
No, we won't. We're actually working on our third year for with our home study, and
sure.
I gotta get my fingerprints taken again. It's like you have to go. It's like you're becoming like a spy or something like that. You have to like they don't fuck around.
Well, that's a good thing. Come on, but it's a lot of hoops to jump through. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
they should rush it a little more.
I remember I was doing a sales routine, and I was like, I remember we went to this adoption seminar. It was like our first bout into adoption, and I just thought that they're gonna be like these little like our Shih Tzu rescue set thing where like they have a bunch of Shih Tzus walking around, and they're like, we'll take that one. I thought that
we'll take that kid in the cage.
Exactly, I'll take that kid. He looks alright. He's kind of crawling around. I like him. He's decent. We'll take him. But it's not like that at all. Like it's almost become like J-date, as I was talking about. When you have, because back in the day with adoption, it used to be like a first come first serve. If you're on the list, and it's available now. But now you have to have like a profile. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like like a dating site, you know, like the birth mother. You have to create like a whole like birth mother letter, which is basically like.
And I guess if you're trying to be specific at what you want, boy, girl, race, whatever.
We'll take anything.
Right.
I mean, anyone.
Anything to love, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anything that wants love, needs love. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, the only thing that we said no to is twins, because honestly, we just can't. We don't have the resources for two at it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if we could do. I mean, we just bought a house a year and a half ago.
You know, everyone has resources.
Yep.
And I've seen people with less.
Yeah.
Have more. You know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah.
You can do it. You always find a way.
Spending like paupers, living like kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, wealthy. I'm not.
Right.
But I tell my son, because he's like, I want Jordans.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even find your shoes the way it is, kid. And you want really expensive shoes. Right?
Yeah.
But why do you want a really expensive shoe? You know, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
And I tell him, like, we're not rich, and we can get you Jordans, but you're gonna lose them. We really can't afford buying new ones every day.
Right.
But he will also live in a house. Our house is like an old house like this.
Yeah, it's not Mars.
But they're huge.
Yeah,
this is a huge house you live in.
102 years
you
old.
live in a mansion compared to most
of
the world. You do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you live in a...
It's like a castle.
You live in a castle.
Yeah.
Go to any other country, most countries, and they see what you're living in, they think you are like royalty. Yes, we don't have 2 Mercedes or, stuff in wipe your butt with silk.
Yeah.
But we're richer than most of the world.
Yeah, we are.
And we eat all right.
Yeah,
we're good.
We get food.
So in other words, you can get more than whatever. I'm just saying, we can always afford more.
Yeah. And I've told this story many times about. I mean, this didn't come. I didn't buy this. This little mic. Somebody got it for me. Somebody was very generous, and I had expressed that I wanted to do a podcast, and next thing I know, it's on my door. I think I tell this story every episode of my podcast. Yep, but to a certain extent, it's a way of saying thank you. Each episode.
Like great.
Yeah,
that's great. That's a good.
Yeah, the guy I was like, I can't afford it, and and the guy was like, "What's your address?" And I was like, "Okay, all right, we'll just." And 2 days later, and it was on my doorstep, and I'm like,
beautiful, yeah.
And I was like, I guess now I got to put my money where my mouth is, And so here we go, and I'm like, we're like 20 episodes into it, Some of them are solo riffs, where I just talk, and and I was telling somebody, I kind of unzip myself, and I just let things out, I mean, let my, as pretentious as this sounds, I mean, I lay it all out there, I unzip myself and just put it out there and lay my soul out, and to a certain extent, that's what you do probably every time you play, like you're putting yourself out there, right?
It is that way, and that's why it's hard to play. So for many years, I've been in bars, and and you're playing songs,
right,
but you've unzipped yourself. I don't want people. They don't have to listen to me, but it's a weird thing. Bars, they're not out to hear someone's soul. They want to tap their foot, drink their beer, and hit on the person next to them.
Yeah.
We're just fodder.
Yeah.
My thing, I'd rather be in a more of a
intimate.
Yeah, because I'm sharing something with you that I did.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's great. That's how I'm looking at it now as I've grown up. I've always thought that way, but when we were younger, we had to play bars because my band members wanted to rock and be in a band. And here I am writing songs about relationships, the darker sides of it.
Yeah, and some people, like for me, when I go to a concert, like I find that the best concerts are the ones that are the least known because there's like it's a much more intimate atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like I said, I went to see U2, and it was great, but like there were like thousands of people there, and I can't say people were not tapping their toes, but like it was like a gigantic extravaganza, and me, I like it, low key. I went and saw this small band called Mingo Fish Trap, like way back in the day, and they're like, nobody knows who they are,
Sure.
but they're kind of a funk band, and I might have been under the influence, but I mean, regardless, you know.
Either way,
yeah.
You know, in the moment was good.
Exactly, in the moment it was perfect, and then in Omaha, where I'm originally from, like I forget what the name of the band was, but like I liked them enough that I saw them twice, and I actually got rallied up a bunch of my friends that were like, you need to see these people. I mean, they had like a whole instrumental thing, they had like cellos and like. I don't know. I don't think they were necessarily an Irish band or anything like that.
You just remind me of a band. You get okay. Anyhow, sorry.
Go. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. But like it was just a real like, it hit me, and like, that's such an amazing thing with music as we've been talking about. Like, there's some music that you're just like, oh, it's pretty good, I like it, and then there's music where it just hits you in the right way, just hit like a bullet, you know what I mean? Like it just pierces you, and you're just like, there it is. That's it. Awesome.
I'll share another band with you.
Okay.
And now we were just talking about this band last night. So after our Thanksgiving, we went to a friend's house on our way home.
Okay.
And we ate their leftovers too. But a couple of years ago, I showed them this band. They're called Typhoon.
Okay.
Are you familiar with them?
No.
It's a 9-piece band.
Okay.
And it sounds big and loud, but they have an album called The White Lighter.
Okay.
The White Lighter.
Okay.
And it is the best album of the year it came out. I can't remember what year it came out. Maybe 2016.
Okay.
But when it came out, when I listened to it, I'm like, you can't just listen to one song. And that's what we were talking about last night.
Right.
It's like when we hear it, when it pops up on their playlist,
yeah,
they're mad because they want to listen to the whole thing. It's such a good album. It's amazing. So this cat, I noticed him because it's NPR. I was listening to NPR, and I just heard this guy talking about his Lyme disease when he was a kid. Yeah. And then he's like, they're talking about, when I was a kid, I was sick a lot, so I'd be in my room, and my friends would be playing, and I'd be in my just thinking of songs or whatever. He spent a lot of time alone, and I thought that was interesting. And then he played the song about how he got Lyme disease. It's in my uncle's backyard, there's a bug, and it's like, wow, dude, this guy's a writer. But then you listen to the band, how good they are, with 9 people playing all these instruments.
Yeah. And
then we just seen them up at the Turf.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, I tell you what, Typhoon, White Lighter, best album.
I looked it up. It's two.
Yeah, and everyone I've ever showed it to, they're like, thank you this is a great album.
I'm downloading it right now as we speak.
Done. Yeah, that's good.
Done. So I was gonna say, like, I mean, as far as do you prefer to? I mean, obviously you like to play, but I mean, do you like? I mean, what's your? I mean, do you have a favorite genre at all, or is it pretty much anything that anything and everything
that I perform?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. When people are like, well, first question, what kind of music you play? And I would just say good. And it gets, that's funny. But I'm like, well, what else am I can't tell you, because it's not country.
Right.
It's not heavy metal.
No, I've listened to it. Yeah.
And I don't, and I have also friends like, yeah, you're right. We don't know what you can't explain it. So I'd say it's folk, because a folk song is a story.
Yeah.
Folk rock is sometimes have a driving beat behind it, depending on the band.
Right.
But if I'm just playing with the fiddle player, it's different. It's ballad. I can say, I write ballads.
Yeah.
But then they're like, oh. I'm like, what's that? Sometimes I write rock ballad. But not a rock ballad. I don't know. It's hard.
I mean...
I'll find it someday.
Sometimes...
Alternative something.
Honestly, sometimes there's just no way to describe the music you play. I mean, there's no genre. It's a mishmash. And
when I was younger...
Yeah.
All the bands out there were Guns N' Roses, like metal bands. Right. And we partied to that stuff. But I didn't sing that way.
Right.
I played my songs.
Right.
And then I got older, and then Nirvana came out.
Oh, man.
Blew the world up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they did the Unplugged.
That's the best one.
Well, that changed it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how old you are now.
I'm 37, me 38.
Okay, so you're there.
Yeah.
And you remember that.
I do.
So when that came out, that changed everything. And Unplugged, MTV Unplugged started and all that stuff. So I'm like, wow, acoustic. He's playing acoustic. That's what I've been doing.
That's my favorite kind of music is acoustic.
So there was that window, but I wasn't old enough.
Yeah.
I was just getting out of high school, just coming to Mankato with my buddy, and so we were too young to be good.
Right.
You know. But by the time we were old enough to be good, I guess,
well, yeah.
the music moved on.
Yeah.
And that's when back, and all these guys came in as electronical more.
Yeah.
That was hitting. So I never kind of hit any. I just kept consistent to what I do.
Yeah. See, I've always been like, I don't want to say fad because like it cheapens it, you know what I mean? But like, I've always been like one, phase of music behind. Like, don't get me wrong, by no means am I like could I say, oh, I love the New Kids on the Block, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, but they were popular during the day, but I didn't. And then they faded out, and I was just like, that's when I started like listening to them. So I'm like tragically always like one beat behind like the popular music, you know what I mean? But the thing is, the good ones, the musicians that last, there is no you're never behind. You're always you know what I mean? Like
just jump in at any time.
Jump in at any time, exactly. And that Nirvana, the Unplugged album, that the last song, Where Did You Sleep Last Night?
Yeah.
Like honestly, like it makes me cry not because I mean it's sad, but it's just so raw. That's his wailing at the end. Like it just moves me.
Which is a Leadbelly song.
Yeah, exactly. I remember he there was because they did a lot of the songs on that album were covers, like The Man Who Sold the World.
Yeah, Bowie.
By Bowie.
And and that's that brought that back when they did that, because I remember the Bowie version. Mm-hmm. But when they played, I'm like, God, I remember the song, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is great.
Yeah, no, he man, I miss him. Like even his last album, Lazarus. I think that's what it's called. I think it's called Lazarus.
Yep. Yeah.
Or Black Star.
Black Star.
Black Star. Yeah.
With the song Lazarus.
Yeah, Lazarus. Like it's haunting. It's just.
Yeah, and I'm also and they talk about the symbolism in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what he's trying to say about these kids talking about the Illuminati and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Because he would have known, and he would have known about all that.
Right.
No, I'm like, don't be a part of it. Was what I was thinking. Like, but maybe you have to be in it. Maybe he's trying to warn people. It's like, this is what's going on up here.
Right.
But we won't get into that.
Oh yeah.
But that was that album in itself. They talked about a lot. Like, what is he doing? Like, all these messages he's trying to give you, and then the videos, and
man, the videos, crazy. Like, yeah, that's the one where he has like the buttons for the eyes, like, and his head's wrapped and stuff like that. Oh man, I don't want to. I mean, it's a great music video, but it's a kind of nightmare fuel a little bit.
But a lot of it was written before he was sick too.
Yeah. And
they say like the one that I can't remember was it Lazarus, where he talks about he's dying or whatever.
Yeah.
But he wrote that before he was sick.
Yeah.
So, but now it takes on a different connotation.
Right.
When you're like, oh yeah, now he's okay. That's weird. He's trying to tell us something.
Yeah. People just went nuts when Prince died, and the thing is, I liked Prince. It took me a while to really appreciate him, but once I realized how many songs that he's been behind, like Manic Monday and Nothing Compares to You.
I cover that as well.
Like my respect for him deepened. I can't say I cried because we were on. I think I might have been driving to Omaha, like when I heard about it, But like, so you can't really cry when you're driving. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, you can, but it's.
Well, I wasn't. My Prince story would be 1 week before he died.
Yeah.
I was sitting at home, and I'm gonna learn Purple Rain.
Yeah.
So I learned it.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna play this show at the brewery here in town.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm gonna learn a song to play there. I'm gonna do Purple Rain, because God, that's a hard song, or at least I thought it was. So I learned it, got the chords, and I learned it, and I played it at a New Ulm show.
Yeah.
So I have witnesses that I played it.
I believe you.
Made a girl cry there.
Oh.
And then so the day before the show at the brewery, I'm opening for the Big Woo. That was that show.
Okay.
He dies.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So now I'm not. What did I play the song? Is that being weird?
Right. Yeah.
Because I know everyone and their brother's gonna sing it now.
Inner struggle there.
So I got to the show and I'm talking to the Big Woo guys. I'm like, are you guys gonna play Purple Rain? They're like, he's like, yeah, you want to play it? Go ahead. And then one guy comes out, and the guitar player, he's like, no, man, that's the song. We gotta play it. I'm like, do what you got. You guys, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But it worked out. They said you play it, so I played it.
Yeah.
The day after he died.
How'd it go?
It went as all of it went then. Everyone took tears.
Yeah.
But I didn't like. I didn't do this for this. I learned it before I knew it.
Right. You didn't do it to make people like cry and sob. You did it because
and he might have been. He was in the news.
Yeah.
Because I just got tickets for his Paisley Park show.
Yeah.
Piano and a microphone.
At one point.
Well, I had tickets for the show.
Yeah.
And I had just gone to something really cool. I had just gone to the Gord Downie show, and so I gave the ticket to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And her and our friend went together. So she got to see Prince at Paisley Park on the piano 2 shows before he died. And then he went down south to do a show. Yeah. And then when they flew back, they landed the plane because he was ODing then. Right. So maybe he was in the news. That's why it came up, and that's why I learned the song. So I'm not quite whatever triggered that memory. It was definitely the concert that they went to, and I'm not. It would have been nice to go, but you don't know if someone's gonna die. Right. I wanted to give a gift to my girlfriend. She got to go see him. Like, oh, whatever, that's fine. I got to go see Tragically Hip, and but yeah, I was a Prince fan. I had to fight boys and back when we were kids. Yeah. Because I'd go back to Janesville, Wisconsin, and they're like, yeah, Prince is good. Yeah. I'm like, dude, he rocks. Who cares? Yeah. And you'd have to actually fight people.
Yeah. Wow. Really?
Oh yeah.
It was
got
a thing. Like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
You had to wear your bands like you drank either Pepsi or Coke. Oh. Because back in the 80s, it was the Pepsi Wars. You don't remember that, huh?
I remember that.
It was a thing. People would fight. Oh, you like Coke, Pepsi, whatever.
I'm still trying to figure out whether, like, I've been to Minnesota. I've always called it pop, but like, if you say soda in Minnesota, like people are just like, what'd you say? Yeah. I'm like, all right, pop. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd say both, and I'd just so you want a soda because I hated the word pop. Yeah. I'd say soda.
It did it?
Or they say Coca-Cola or you want a pop? Yeah. Yeah. You want some Coke? What kind of party is this?
Yeah, like when and that what's funny is that was my drug of choice. So whenever I hear, it's funny, whenever I hear somebody say Coke, like I just like my brain just goes like, yeah. It's just like a weird feeling. Like I'm just like, and it's I wrote about this like, I did a lot of it back in the day, and like every so often I'll get that smell in my nose, you know what I mean? Like, and it's weird because there's not, I wouldn't even know where to find it, if I was even looking for it. Not that I would be, because obviously 8+ years, but when people say Coke, like
it triggers everything that
it triggers, yeah. Like it's like a whole flash of like memories and like, the loneliness of addiction.
No, see, I never got into that drug.
See, good for you.
But I watched the progression of drugs as I grew up. Sure. And how we grew up. And what became, and when they cracked down on the beer parties, it became, do some acid. All these people. It broke off in groups. Yeah. And then when the Coke came into the scene, when you got that age, then people really broke off. Yeah. Because that's kind of expensive. No one wants to share. So now you're just dealing with a bunch of assholes. Yeah. And then if they're talking to you, they're not really talking to you. Yeah. And I've been at a lot of parties. After the show, they're doing this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How you doing, man? How you doing? And they're looking off your shoulder. They don't really care to talk. They're talking. They're talking. Yeah, they're awake. They're having fun.
But they're not.
But you're not there. Don't talk to me. Move on, dude. You're just looking for the next dude walking to the bathroom. Yeah. Don't act like you're talking to me. Right. Just keep walking. Yeah, right. And all my friends, they knew. I have friends that did a bunch of things. Yeah. They knew I wasn't. They'd hide it from me because I'd give them the evil eye. But not just because once you're doing it, you're just an asshole now. You're just some dude want to talk all the time.
I'm a pretty big asshole, yeah. Right.
Well, it is. That's the drug.
Yeah,
no, want to be an asshole, do coke.
Right. No, I mean, and that's the thing. Like I've written about it. Like when I was on drugs, like I would do. If I couldn't hurt myself, I'd hurt you. Whether it be physically, which I'm not a physical person, you know, as far as like I don't put my dukes up or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I can be very manipulative when I'm on, you know, when I was on the drug, you know, manipulative and just trying to get more money to get to my next fix. I've always said that, like,
the cycle, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the hard, like, I remember I would drive to the ATM, and this is obviously like ancient. It's kind of ancient history at this point, and I'm not afraid to share about it. But like I remember like I'd be crying going to the ATM. Like I'd be sobbing because it had gotten to that point where like I didn't want the drug anymore. But like the harder I cried, the harder my foot pressed on the gas pedal to get my money to get to my next fix. You know what I mean? And then I became an asshole because like I've always been like this person who's very easily intimidated and very like people walk all over me. I was a doormat, but like when I was on that drug, I was in control.
You were there.
Yeah,
talking.
I was there. Yeah, and I was an asshole. Sure. You got it right in the nose, buddy. Yeah. But it's so But here's the thing, like as I said earlier, like when I saw your show, it was like I said, it was the first time I was straight, you know, and I'm absolutely grateful, that I gotta be part of that. I mean, I wasn't really part of it, but you know what I mean? I'm glad I got to see you, and it wasn't like this gigantic, auditorium. It was just a very nice, intimate location, and then you played 5 years, and I started gushing like a little girl, and it was awesome, and that's the beauty of music. Like it just it drums up so many different emotions, and I'm very, very grateful, that, so as far as I'm concerned, that's your claim to fame for me, is my first concert's completely sober. So
yeah, nice.
I really appreciate that, man, and I really do appreciate you coming on the show. And yeah, and I was talking about my father-in-law, and earlier before you came on, and I hope he hits his bottom, because that sounds like a horrible thing to say, but I hope he hits his bottom, because then at that, because maybe he'll be good to go for the rest of the holidays. And when you're in addiction, as I'm sure you've seen other people, like, you can plead with them, you can try and tell them.
Oh, I know a lot of people sitting at the bottom. They're not. They're not looking up yet.
And the thing is, until they hit that bottom, there's just you can't control. It's like the 3 C's. There's of a different 12-step group that I know of. You didn't cause it, you can't control it, and you can't cure it. You know what I mean? The person has to want it. So, and I definitely wanted it. So I normally don't do this, but do you want to take us out with a couple chords?
Sure.
Anything that you want, and
okay.
Something like 30 seconds or something like that. And,
sure.
And we'll fade out.
Let's do it.
All right. Well.
Guess you're wrong. Let me on the shelf. When I'm done, can you pick me up all by yourself? Put me in the corner, that's where I belong. Swallowing poison. Guess you're strong. Can you help me put this on the shelf? When you're done, can you pick me up all by yourself? Put me in the corner, that's where I belong. swallowing their poison.
All right, thanks, Ian. And remember, my neurotics, we're living it all one day at a time. Have a great weekend.